All right. Maybe you all saw during this roll in short, maybe you all saw that there was a big anti-white celebration, and that's how you should refer to it as. You need to stay focused, or we're going to lose what chance we have of recapturing our destiny. An anti-white celebration at the White House, and it seems now that this flag, I ask you, is this flag now the flag of anti-whiteism? It seems that all white women and men who are heterosexual and therefore more likely, although not uh, completely, but more likely to be in tune with Western norms, it seems that they are the only ones excluded from this flag. So is this become the de facto flag of anti-whiteism? And I asked the question on the thumbnail: when would the anti-white oligarchs pull that flag down? Does anybody know? Care to hazard a guess? I'll answer before we wrap it up here today. Let's have a listen to this individual who, born as a man, now sees himself as a woman, an imaginary woman, if you will, and decided to take his or her or they top off while at this anti-white celebration. Let's see what they have to say about that.
It has recently come to my attention that conservatives are trying to use the video of me topless at the White House to try to call the community groomers, etc.
Do not call people who prepare children for pedophilic interaction groomers. It is my recommendation. You can continue calling them just groomers, like your dog gets groomed, or you groom yourself, or you groom the children before you go to church. But then again, if you keep doing that, then that sort of thing will just keep happening.
And I
So say pedophile groomers.
would just like to say that, first of all, going topless in Washington, D.C. is legal.
I want to point out really quickly that anti-whites will use the laws when they will benefit them, when they serve them, and they will act as though this is some sort of obedience to law and order, when it is never the case. They will use any tool that they have at their discretion and any excuse that they can make. And here you see that they can say that, well, it's legal for me to do this. And of course, you know that if it weren't legal, they would just say that it is illegitimate, that it is not legal. Keep your eye on the ball.
And I fully support the movement in freeing the nipple, because why?
Freeing the nipple. This individual covered his or her or they's nipples to be safe, that he or she or they say at the end of the video. I've seen this once before. So free the nipple would be to take it a step further and uncover.
Why is my chest now deemed inappropriate or illegal when I show it off? However, before coming out as trans, it was not.
Going shirtless on the White House lawn is inappropriate. But that is a standard of the West, a decorum that is intrinsic to the West, and therefore is under attack. Western civilization, coming from the product of Western culture, a product of Western kind.
All you're doing is affirming that I am a woman. All you're doing is saying that trans women are women.
You're absolutely not saying that this trans woman is a woman by objecting to him or her or they taking his or her or they, this is so easy to do with speech, shirt off. What you were saying is that if two aliens came to Earth and put on human costumes and began to simulate fornication in public, that we would arrest those aliens for the simulation of fornication, which we prohibit in the public. We would not say that the aliens are human, just as people are not saying that this biological male is a female because they object to the presence of simulated breasts.
Because for some reason, people like to sexualize women's bodies and say that they are inappropriate.
The sexualization of women's bodies begins with women who wear skimpy clothing and makeup.
My trans masculine friends were showing off their top surgery scars and living in joy.
So part of being, according to this particular individual, part of being a transgender is to expose one's naked body. It's good to know.
And I wanted to join them. And because it is perfectly within the law in
Again, using the law when it serves their anti-white objectives.
Washington, D.C., I decided to join them and cover my nipples just to play it safe because I wanted to be fully free and myself. I had zero intention of trying to be vulgar or.
What standards constitute vulgarity to an assailant and murderer of Western norms, customs, mores, expectations of behavior?
Be profane in any way. I was simply living in joy.
Listen very closely to this, because there are quite a few people who have pushed back against me and against Team White Wellbeing over the many, many, many years, saying that it can't be done. It can't be done. You can't live in your own story and succeed.
Living my truth and existing in my body. Happy Pride.
Living my truth. My reality is forced upon you as this biological male, imaginary female says, and you now use the concepts that anti-whites have given you when discussing these people. Isn't that smart of you? The United Nations has pulled down all of the flags for this month of all of the countries of the world and have in their place the rainbow flag, not the one that's on the White House right now, that is in the prominent position over the stars and stripes of the United States, the seat of power of the largest or the most powerful country economically, militarily in the world, to be an affront to Western kind and Western civilization. That's what they're doing there. That's what's happening at the United Nations, in my opinion. That's what's happening at every Fortune 500 company. That's what's happening all across Western civilization. So we'll end on the question, if the transformers or transgenders or whatever they call themselves, if they had a different position when it came to Western civilization, would that be the time that the anti-white oligarchs would pull them down, would pull down their flag? What if suddenly we snap our fingers and people who consider themselves, like this person, transgender, decided to be for Western civilization and Western kind? That would be the end of these folks. The companies would drop them. The flag would be torn off the White House so fast your head would spin. And at the United Nations, they would be wiping their asses on rainbow flags. That's how you know what the objective is behind all of this.